Hello everyone, it's your girl Regina Sunshine coming to you from what is always a beautiful day for me here in Atlanta, Georgia with the Regina Sunshine Show here every Monday at 12 noon, bringing you my version of midday motivation, helping you get a Regina Sunshine state of mind. And I'm so excited to have my one and only special guest today, and I hope I'm saying the name right. Is it Ontaria Reed?
Yes.
Oh, yes, she's already in studio with us. We're going to have a great show. It's not often I get to have just one guest. That means we can really talk today versus pushing on to get to the next guest. But I do have a couple of announcements. For those who've been following me for a while, you know, my Awesome Girl project is near and dear to my heart. And this year we're launching 2 Awesome Girl books. We've already closed registration, but if somebody reaches out and they've got a girl they really want to participate, you know I'm going to fit her in. But we've got our first book, Beautiful Just Like Me, which is the 3rd book in our Awesome Girl series that'll be launching this summer. And again, it's girls ages 5 to 17, all telling what it means when they hear the words beautiful just like me. All right. And our second book, which I'm super excited about because it's our first art book, is going to be called You're All That Girl. And you know, the art kit is included. I mean, your canvas, your paints, your brushes, everything. And we actually have an art teacher, Miss Shaquita Maxey, with Purpose to Create, that will be leading the girls in this affirmation art project. So it's a big year for the Awesome Girl Project. A lot is going on. But again, if you have a girl that you absolutely want to be in one of these projects, definitely reach out to me. You can go to reginasunshine.com and fill out our contact information there, or just email me at reginasunshinerobinson@gmail.com. All right. The second thing that is really big for me this year in 2021, I had the opportunity to be in my second Chicken Soup for the Soul book. I'm so excited about this opportunity. This one is called Be You, And it is 101 stories of affirmation, determination, and female empowerment. You guys may remember a couple years back, I was in their Curvy and Confident edition, which at that time I didn't understand the whole PR machine behind Chicken Soup for the Soul. I'd read the book for years, but I really didn't get it. Now I'm a little more prepared for what they've got going on, but I'm so thankful and blessed to be a part of the Chicken Soup for the Soul family again, because they do look out for their authors. And coming right behind this, like I said, I wasn't prepared last time, but I know this time, coming up right behind this, I'm going to be launching my next book, Chasing Sunshine, which is the workshop, the coaching I do, leading people into finding their purpose. And I'm going to tell you about how I was chasing sunshine, how I found my purpose, and lead you through my purpose finding exercise in that book as well. So I'm so excited to give you guys a little bit more details behind the story. So often you guys see us out front doing things that you want to do, and you figure these things just happen, right? We just showed up here. Well, you need to know there are a lot of things that go along with this journey to get you to the places that God has for you, okay? I think that's it. I always go to my first break talking about something I'm thankful for. And, I wrote down today, I'm thankful to my Father in heaven for reminding me of my worth and that no one and nothing is worth my peace. And I've had a very interesting 2021. So much has happened in our family and in our businesses, and so many distractions that have tried to rob us of peace. But in the midst of that, God has continued to bless us and show us that no matter what's moving around us, He is the thing that is unmovable. And as we hold on to Him, when we keep our eyes on Him, everything will be okay. And the thing that has come out of that, for those who don't know, is Regina Sunshine is moving to Myrtle Beach. Yes. I am leaving Atlanta, the place where my show started, and so many great ventures, awesome girls, the boss movement, everything. And I'm moving to Myrtle Beach. Over these past few months, I've traveled quite a bit to North Carolina to be with my family. And every time I would take that trip home, I kept thinking I'm too far away from home. And I really battled back and forth about moving out of what I call Wakanda on Earth, Atlanta, and going back towards home. And yesterday, actually it was Friday, I was having a conversation with my cousin, and we were talking about how my sisters had gone home, and they were doing what we do now every time we go home, right? Gabriel crab boiling without me and Gabriel and King. And then they all went fishing yesterday, and all I kept thinking was, I should have been home. There were some obstacles that came up at the last, minute that kind of got in the way of me traveling. And all I kept thinking was, if I was in Myrtle Beach, I'd only be 30 minutes from home. And there's not a lot that could keep me from being there when we have family gatherings. And it solidified to me that that's where I'm supposed to be. And, a friend of mine, when I made the post on Mother's Day saying, Mama, your baby's coming home, a friend of mine, actually my coach, Lanita Mitchell Blackwell, put in the comments how God was going to bless me wherever I was. And I think for me, Atlanta had become such a symbol of God's blessing in my life that I had to be reminded that His blessing is everywhere He is. And as long as we are obedient and have our eyes on Him, the blessings will be there. And so the blessings are waiting for me in Myrtle Beach, just like they were waiting for me here in Atlanta. And I'm excited. I thank my Father in heaven for loving me so much that wherever I am, He is. And His blessings are as well. All right? We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have our one and only special guest here, live on the Regina Sunshine Show, here at Regina Sunshine Global Network.
Hello, it's your girl Regina Sunshine, and they call me the Affirmation Queen. Why am I called the Affirmation Queen? Because I'm a big believer that if you change the way you speak, you'll change the way you think, and you'll change the circumstances in your life. So start today speaking words of life over you and your circumstances, and see if everything doesn't begin to line up with those things that you are speaking. And I want to leave you with these parting thoughts. Remember this: God loves you just the way you are. You are beautiful because you were created in love. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You have the seeds of greatness within you. You were born to live a victorious life. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. You are worthy of the best things in life. And take with you my personal motto. I always say it's not over till I win. If I hadn't won yet, that just means it's not over. So I tell you today, it's not over till you win. If you hadn't won yet, baby, that just means it's not over. Be blessed and keep winning.
All right, you guys, you're back live on the air, Regina Sunshine, here on the Regina Sunshine Show, where? At Regina Sunshine Global Network. And yes, I do have my Miss Math teacher glasses on so I can see. But I'm so excited to introduce you guys to our one and only guest today, Miss Ontaria Reed. And I do want to read her bio before we get started. It says, Ontaria Reed is a self-professed serial entrepreneur with businesses in trucking and motivation. Ontaria got her start in trucking 8 years ago. She was able to grow her trucking business to a fleet of 8 trucks, and hear this, $1 million in annual revenue. Ontaria also has an online course and mentorship program helping those successfully start their own trucking company. While working in trucking, she noticed there was a need for affordable fleet managers. So she started a trucking fleet management company that provides customizable fleet management services to all. If that's not enough, Ontaria has a motivational clothing line called I Choose Me that inspires women to be okay with wanting to fulfill their own passions in life outside of their familial environments. Ontaria continues to grow her trucking line of business with more to come in the near future. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited about this conversation because you are in an industry that is considered to be a male-only industry, so I know you have a lot to share that's going to help somebody who wants to branch out and do something different.
Yeah.
Well, I always start off talking about how I met someone, so shout out to Jade Ammons.
Yes.
For making the connection.
Thanks, Jade.
So, before we get started, what do you want the audience to know about you?
I would say just know that I am a regular person that just so happened to step out on faith.
Oh.
And just trying to do things that I feel as though I was led to do. And that's it. Nothing's perfect. You might have an idea and you think you want it to be perfect from the beginning. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to start it and then make the adjustments along the way. So, and that's what I did,
Just start it.
Yeah.
So often people are waiting for everything to line up, for all the conditions to be, as you say, perfect. And I always say, just go. just start doing something and give God something to work with.
Exactly. I say that all the time. It's like, if you want God to bless something and to grow, you got to give him something to bless.
Absolutely.
You can't bless a thought, an idea.
Well, I was looking at your bio, and it doesn't mention maybe what you wanted to do before trucking. So as a child, what was your dream?
I really don't know. It was funny. I was talking to my friends. I always had this vision of myself being like a CEO of a company. I had this, I don't know if it's because I watched Sesame Street or something like that, but I used to see myself in this business power suit, and I was going to be that person in like corporate America, being a CEO. I just always saw myself as that. So of what, I don't know. And then trucking just so happened to fall into my lap, and I wasn't looking for it. I've never had an interest in it, and it kind of just happened.
So It says 8 years ago you started your trucking company.
2013.
So what were you doing before that?
I did disability. So disability for the company I work for, do disability for third parties, so like other bigger companies. So it's a disability administrator, essentially.
Completely different.
Completely different. Has nothing to do with transportation at all. Nothing at all. As a matter of fact, I had actually started, before I moved to Georgia, I had started taking nursing classes because I thought, because doing disability, we have a lot of nurses and doctors that we work with. And I was like, well, maybe I need to go to school for nursing. So I went back to school to take some nursing, your prerequisites.
Yes.
And I was like, this ain't for me.
Well, at least you knew early on it wasn't for you. My grandmother always wanted me to be a nurse, and I was like, that's...
Yeah. It's just the school aspect, because I do have a degree. I do have a degree in social and behavioral science from Indiana University. So I always thought that, maybe because I love kids, I'm like, maybe I want to work with kids. That's what I used to think when I was in college. Oh, maybe I want to work with kids and kind of like a Boys and Girls Club type of atmosphere.
Yes.
That wasn't it either.
Well, sometimes it takes finding out what doesn't work to find out what does work.
Yeah.
So you said trucking fell into your lap.
It did.
Tell us the story.
So essentially, a friend of mine, he was about to start a trucking company. Well, he wanted to, and he was like, hey, we should start one together. I was like, what do I know about trucking? I was like, I literally know nothing. And I'm like, I don't know anything about the industry. I don't even know how trucks work. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, no, we should do it. It took a lot of convincing because I was afraid. I was very scared. But I was like, you know what? I'm here in Atlanta. Something, before I moved here, I felt like something moved me to come here. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, I moved to Atlanta to take chances. So I took a chance on it. And we started out with one truck. By the end of the first year, we had 3, and then by year 3, we had 8. Yeah.
So, what have you learned about yourself from taking this chance?
I have learned. Let me see. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like it really allowed me to tap into my power that I didn't know I had. It allowed me to. I guess see myself as like somebody who is like I know how to assert myself. I know how to guide people. It really made me learn that me being a worker is not who I am. I need to be the leader because I shine better that way. And so I would say that's probably one of the bigger things that I learned about me, which I didn't know because I was always, the person in the background, but I was always a doer. I always like to do stuff. And then sometimes, I always used to feel like, like I consider myself a jack of all trades and the master of none because I know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like, it helped me really tap into like who I was as a person, what it is that I have to offer. And it's just like, yeah, girl, like, you kind of like it.
Well, I'm listening to you, and you sound very confident.
Yeah.
In the spaces that you're walking in. That as you were launching this truck journey, how did you, I guess, come up to speed? Because you're saying this is something that you knew nothing about.
Yeah.
So how did you, I guess, figure it all out?
I mean, for me, it was a lot of educating myself. I think I started out, because I was like, I need to learn what the transportation industry is. At least start out with the basics. Like, okay, you have, truck drivers have to have CDL. I'm like, well, let me read the CDL manual. So I went through reading the CDL manual so I at least know, like, their rules and guidelines that they have to follow when it comes to truck safety and all of that. So I kind of started out with that, and a lot of the other things I learned was kind of like just on the job, as far as like how the trucks operate, how to deal with drivers, how to find drivers, essentially just how to navigate the different seasons of trucking and, how we're going to get over these hills because trucking is real up and down.
Yes.
And so, it was just kind of like, you learn as you go, and I learned as I went. So that's pretty much how I got myself up to speed.
I'm listening to you. I'm thinking about a friend of mine that I grew up with. She lives in Atlanta now too, and she started her trucking business maybe like a year or so. I got to connect y'all. I think she has 2 trucks now. And same thing when she started. Everybody was like, "Trucking business?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So how have you been received in this community?
I think I've actually been received really well. It's so funny. So we had the company. We don't have the 8 trucks anymore. But after the company went away, I started teaching people how to start their own trucking company. So I have a class called Trucking 101, and it's online. But I didn't think to do it because, after I kind of like put myself out there, because a lot of people didn't know I was in it. But once I put myself out there, people start asking me questions, and I got referrals from people who knew other people. And next thing you know, they start coming to me. And then one of my friends was like, "You need to start a class." I was like, "Nah, that's me being hesitant again." I was like, "No," but after it was one conversation I had with somebody, and it was 2 hours long, and I was like, I was like, I need to put myself out there, so not only did I start the class, I created a whole, it's 16 different actual sessions within that class. And so not only did I start that, I also started, it's a consultation business in there too, so a lot of people who already have it, who are having trouble, I share them my experiences and what I think they should do and all of that. And then, it kind of just, it was like trucking came in, and then I kind of like developed into other things. So I also have the fleet management company, which was birthed out of me realizing because trucking is made up of 80% owner-operators, meaning that only 20% of the trucks on the road are owned by the big companies. Mm-hmm. Everything else is small companies. They own 7 trucks or less. And I was like, that was us. And I was like, a lot of things that, people needed, I was like, because they can't afford it, but the big guys can, like fleet managers, driver managers, in order to actually grow your business. Because most of them want to, but they're like, oh, it's too much work. They don't know how. They can't really afford the help. And I was like, you know what? I can do this for them. Set up a business, created it so that I can help them run their business and actually give them an opportunity to grow it as well. So it's just like, it started out with one thing and blossomed into a bunch of other things.
Well, have you figured out when you're going to write your book?
Oh, God, write a book. Oh, wow.
I mean, it's so much. I mean,
but you're not the first person to tell me
the
that.
journey. I mean, there's so many people who need to hear the story, right? The journey, the faith walk, because when you're talking about starting something new, something that is completely out of what you think is the realm of your possibility, it helps to hear other people's stories, so it builds your faith. So we have an obligation to tell our stories.
You know what? I'm going to think about that. No, really. I mean, because you're not the first person that said, like, oh, you need to write a book. I'm like, man, write a book. Because even, like, putting together the course, like, it was a lot. Like, research, putting it together.
The course is a book. That's a different book.
Right. But I figure it's, like, along the same as far as the process.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about it, writing it down, editing it, all of that.
Yeah, there's your story, and then there's the workshop.
Yeah.
Most of the books that I have written have come from workshops that I teach, and people are like, man, you should really put that information in a book so people can read it. So I'm thinking, as I'm listening to you, I see there are multiple books here, so I'm just going to push that over there for you.
All right.
Well, we were talking again about you being in a mostly male-dominated field. I was a friend of mine, Dr. Christy Gooden, is one of only 10 black female transplant surgeons in the whole U.S. And she was speaking to a group of girls for me, I think it was last weekend, and she made this statement. She said, just accept that it's not going to always be fair and that you're going to have to shine. And, I think so often when we're in spaces like, that we're, the one that people don't expect to be there, or, this, like I said, a male heavily dominated field, we often, people often get stuck on it's not fair, it should be like this. And when she said that, it was just like, yeah, it doesn't have to be fair. You just shine, just go and do your thing. Right. Have you experienced some of the same things?
I would say yes, because, I mean, even just from drivers and people in where you get loads from, I've always felt like once they find out that because initially they'll talk to me and think that, oh, you must work with your husband, or, oh, or, oh, who's the person that owns the company? And it's like, me. So, they automatically assume that it's a male that behind me.
Yeah.
Or even, I'll never forget one time, this guy, he kept calling me the secretary. You're right, so they automatically assume that I'm in this secretarial type of role. And even just last week, because I have a client in which I'm helping him find drivers, and I was doing interviews for a driver position. And one of the guys, he was like, man, he was like, you sound like you really know your stuff. You sound like you really know, like you can own your own company. I was like, okay. I'm like, listen. So, yeah, but she's right. I've kind of just accepted, like, that's how they're going to see me. And all I can do is, like she said, just shine, and maybe that'll change their perspective eventually.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, it's 2021, but there are still so many strongholds, mindsets that people have about certain positions, and I would just say from the men's side, even from the women's side, when it comes to things that we're capable of, so often you put a box right around what we can and cannot do. What do you think was, I guess, different about you that you were able to break through that box?
I think that it was probably a lot of, I never gave up. Because believe me, there are many times where I cried. Like, why am I doing this? There are many nights where I didn't get any sleep. Many nights where maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep, literally going to bed at 4, waking up at 6. And I just didn't give up. I kept pushing. There was something in me that said keep going. And so I would say that probably made me different. Like, I did not give up, even though I wanted to.
Yes. We all want to sometimes.
Right, I'm like, there's still days when I'll be like, why am I doing this? It's so funny. There's this, I cannot remember her name, but I remember seeing her in one of the trucking magazines. She was, she Hispanic, but she owned the company. They had like 100 trucks or whatever. Wow. It's rare that you see a woman that like has this company. And so NMTA, which is National Minority Trucking Organization, which is Association, which is here in Atlanta, they before the pandemic they used to do every year like this conference, and she was speaking one year, and I was so excited. I was like, I gotta go. And then I actually got a chance to speak to her afterwards, and so she even said, she was like, because she also had a business partner. She said, I was just telling such and such the other day. She was like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, it made it seem human, like, you have those moments too?
Yes. Well, I think people need to hear that, because so often when people see you operating in an area of success, like I said earlier, they just say, it's just working out for her. And like, no, we're at home, and my son can tell people that sometimes I'm just like, I just don't want to do this. And he's like, will you be happy with your life if you don't do this? I'm
exactly.
Like, no, so you suck it up.
Right, and that's kind of like how I feel like it's funny, I was talking to one of my friends last week, and I was just like, man, like some days I just want to be like, I'm going to just settle in just being content with being normal.
Oh my God, Gabriel, that's not me.
Yeah, I was like, and he was like, yeah, you're not going to do that. I was like, you right.
You know what? I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. I just want to live a normal life. I just want to be like everybody else. And he looked at me, he's like, all right. And I'm like, just let me have today. Can I have today? Can I whine and cry a little bit and then get myself together? Because we're human. And so often when you are a strong woman operating in space where people see you in leadership, they assume that it's just always like that. And you're like, no.
It's not.
No, can somebody hold my hand? Kiss my forehead?
Tell me about it. Like some days I be like, I just need somebody to rub my shoulder.
Yes.
Like today was tough,
Yeah, in fact, I just posted that meme over the weekend. Strong women want their foreheads kissed and their hands held too. So I get it, but people don't always. They figure you're either one or the other. You can't be all of those things at one time.
Yeah, right. Because I just feel like because like you said, that's all they see. They see everything that you've done, and they really don't see all the things that go behind it. But
that's why you have to write the book.
Yeah, that's true.
So and that gives other people courage to do those things, because they're like, okay, so even though I'm not feeling like it today, she didn't feel like it one day, and she still made it.
Yeah.
So rewards. What have been some of the biggest rewards of this journey?
Probably the biggest reward is, I don't want to cry. But I have a son who's 15, and when I launched my trucking 101 class, that was kind of like me branching out on my own around that point when I decided to create the class, and I did a seminar, and I was surprised. I got 100 people to register for the seminar.
Wow.
Right, on
That's
my
a good
first one.
That's a good
Right,
first one.
and so he was able to see me. I had him there, helping. So he was able to see me pull on this, seminar, and I had my friends help me like doing interviews and stuff, and then, I'm up front, giving my whole spiel to all of these people, teaching them about trucking and how I can help them and all this other stuff, and so Jade, she had asked him, he was like, she said, oh, how you feel about seeing your mom? He was like, oh, I'm so proud of her. And it was just like, I'm like, for me, I don't know, it was weird. I really wasn't thinking about it. I wanted him to see it, but I didn't know really the impact that it would have on him. Because even now, because he lives with his dad, but he comes with me during the summer, and he's like, Mom, I want to work for you this summer. And so, so for me, I feel like that's the biggest reward, that I can show him something outside of just, you finding a job and going to work, that you can pursue your own passions and whatever it is, it may not be 100%, because he's there, so he see me making adjustments to, whatever it is that I'm working on, so he see the changes that I go into, me practicing the seminar before it happened, and so it's just like, I'm able to, essentially, so that I'm able to give him a bigger view of things. So I would say that's my biggest reward, that I'm able to, help guide my son and give him a different experience that I wasn't even privy to.
I can identify with that so much.
Yeah.
I remember Gabriel sharing with me, he was talking to this girl he was dating, and she told him, she said, you and I have been raised with different mindsets. She said, I've been raised to go to school, get a job, and just work. She said, and you've been raised to follow your dreams and your purpose.
Yes.
She said, we don't see the world the same way. And when he told me, I don't think he knew what it meant to me to hear that, because so many people spend their whole life trying to figure that part out. And to know that you're already at 25 years old seeing the world through eyes of purpose versus, let me just get this money.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me figure out somewhere I can just go sit in and just see what happens with my life. And it makes a difference when they have a different view of what life could be, because so many young people, it's like this one narrow road, not recognizing that there's so many gifts and talents inside of us.
Right.
That we can create our own road, we can create our own path and do something completely unique and special.
Yes, exactly.
So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Keys to your success. If you had to say like maybe one thing for sure that aided you in the success you've had, what would you say?
Probably what I said earlier, just push through. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you want to give up. Don't, because what it is that you see at the end of the tunnel and what you're trying to pursue is, is more than, you giving up and probably, settling for something that you're not going to be happy about. So I would say just keep pushing through. Like, it's hard, but the reward at the end of the day is that you actually did something that you wanted to do. I've always said, for me, I never wanted on, at the end of the day, when it's my time to go, I don't want to sit back and say, man, I wish I had done that. Yeah. So I would rather at least try it, which is why I try a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I would at least try it. Therefore, I'm not going to have any regret later. It's like, oh, I could have did it. Yes. It's like, no, just do it. Like, I tell my son that all the time. I'm like, just like Nike said, just do it. Just do it. It's really that simple.
Yes. But so many young people, they're taught to be safe. Just pick something and do that. But no, just go try it. And and I heard a friend of mine, it was at the Boss Conference. We have a men's organization called Living Like a Boss. Boss stands for Business, Occupation, Service, and Significance. And one of our panelists said he told his sons, he said, your mom and I have worked hard, so you have the opportunity to go out here and just try some things. He said, so you got a safe place to come back to. He said, just go. Just go. Try some stuff. If it don't work out, come back home, regroup. We'll go out and try it again. And I think it makes a difference when you have been given that mindset. Just try something. Yeah. Because then if you don't like it, you're like, I don't like it. Go try something else.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Now that's probably like the biggest gift that I could give my son, because I've kind of been grooming him since he was little. Like, I want you to pay attention to the stuff that you like. You know, pay attention to things that you enjoy, and then maybe later you can figure out how to make something out of it. You can make a living so that you're happy, you know, and you're not just settling for a paycheck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's my song I sing all the time.
Yeah.
That's the whole the book Chasing Sunshine. That's everything that it's about. Because and one of the purpose finding questions I ask is when you just answered. I say you're 90 years old, you're sitting, you know, on your front porch, you know, and you're thinking about your life. What will you be sitting there regretting if you don't do it now? You don't want that.
No.
You don't want that. You want to say, you know, I gave it all. I poured it all out. And I'm sitting here going, you know what? Yeah, I messed that up, but I had fun messing.
Exactly. It's so funny because even, so I had started doing, I got into the stock market. And then I was doing, I was like, you know what? I can do this day trading thing. So I set some money aside. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Because I had practiced for like 6 months or something like that, because you can use fake money in practice. And I practiced it. And then once I got in myself, it didn't quite work out how I thought it was going to. And it was like, at the time, I was crushed. But I was like, you know, and like even I tell my son, because I had kind of like got him into it. I started teaching him about the stock market and the different ways in which you can trade and all of that. And so when he found out, you know, me losing, he was like so heartbroken for me. I was like, it's okay. I was like, because at the end of the day, I feel like, you know what? I really wanted to do it. I tried it. The day trading thing probably ain't for me. But now I know.
I love that so much, so much. Well, what we'll take a quick break. We're going to come back and let's do a little final motivation for our guests. Sound good?
You know.
All right, we'll be right back here on the Regina Sunshine Show at Regina Sunshine Global Network. All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine here on the Regina Sunshine Show with my guest, Ontario Reed. And I do have a couple questions I want to ask you to end this show. I'd like to, end with something that's going to really help the guests, motivation-wise. One of the things I wanted to ask you, for me, I told everybody that 2020 was peace and purpose. We had to get still because we couldn't move around like we would, and so you had a lot of time to think. And and allow God to speak to you about, what's going on in my life, purpose, and everything like that. And then 2021, for me, has been peace, purpose, and progress. So, we got the peace, we got the purpose together, and we're moving forward. So when you hear that, what does that mean to you?
Peace, purpose, and progress. I guess it means, I guess for me, it would be to be at peace with what I'm hearing that I'm supposed to do. And that allows me to step into my purpose. It's funny that you said when I think peace, purpose, and progress. One of the things that I said since the pandemic is that I realized I was blocking my own blessing. Because I was doing a whole lot of praying about, God, give me signs what I'm supposed to do. And then I'll have people come to me, hey, I need you to help me do this. And then I need you to help me do the same thing over and over again. And I was like, it dawned on me one day, I was like, girl, you are blocking your own blessing. Like, you keep asking God for direction and He giving it to you. And I'm like, nope, that ain't it. But that's what, to me, like, I'm settling into, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, even like what I do now. I've had a couple people ask me, over the past couple weeks, like, oh, does this make you stressful? I was like, you know what? I'm not stressed out about it at all. Like, this is easy to me. And I'm like, this is probably what I'm supposed to be doing because it's not a burden.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so often I think we expect God to show us in one particular way when we ask. That answer doesn't come out and like, well, that can't be Him because that's not how I thought it was supposed to come. And the whole time He was like, well, I keep sending folk back over and over again.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. I was like, you know what, girl, just stop it. Like, it really started out with me saying, I'm not going to say no to things that come to me anymore. And then it realized that it was things that were along, like people were asking me how to, because I don't want to get back into trucking as far as owning trucks or even, I really didn't want to physically help somebody start their truck. I want to teach you what I know and send you out there.
Yes.
But no, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Because it kept coming to me. People kept saying, no, can you help me? Like, I would pay you. We're going to do this together. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say no to it anymore. This is what you want. And I've aligned my business along with that. And I'm like, okay, this is what keeps coming to me. It doesn't, like, that part stresses them out. But for me, I'm like, I can do this with my eyes closed. And I'm happy about it, So,
yes.
So peace, purpose, and progress. So that's what I think it is. I'm settling into what my purpose is. And now I am progressing it forward.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I tell, I ask my coaching clients when we first get started, say, what are some things that people keep asking you to do? So there's a reason. So they keep asking you to do the same thing over and over again. You like one lady who, is, in HR and everything, but she loves decorating and flower arrangements and all that. So people always ask me to do flower arrangements and stuff. I'm like, do you love it? She's like, I absolutely love it. I'm like, there's a reason. They see the gift. God is giving you this gift and you enjoy it. That's a part of what you're supposed to be. It might not be the whole thing, right? But stop shutting doors. Stop stuffing stuff back down inside of you and let that thing come up and be what it's trying to be. So, I remember a friend of mine, and he's passed on now, Pastor Bill Pitts. He had a conversation with my son Gabriel. He said, so often we get focused on one gift, right? And one thing that we can do, and then we forget about all the other gifts that God has given us. And that's where our multiple streams of income come from. All those gifts that He's given us, to tap into all of them. Get the money from everywhere. Do all the stuff you love to do, and then people pay you to enjoy your life.
Listen, I'm telling you, because even, not even that, I also have a design company in which, really me and my friend, we kind of like started out. So right now our first project is working on my friend's. We're completely redoing her whole upstairs.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, and people have always come to me because I've done my house well, and I've done all of the like accent walls and stuff like that. I did that myself.
Wow.
And so people were like, oh, you should do this. And I used to be like, no. But then I was like, you know what? I told you I'm not like, listen, nope, I'm not saying no to nothing.
I love that.
And then
so
you know
much.
what came to me? So even after me, outside of the trucking thing, so even after me doing that, what came to me was an opportunity for me to be the design consultant on an Airbnb project. That's going to be multiple units.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Look at God out here.
We just had to let him be him,
Yeah.
right? Well, one of the things I wanted to ask too is about practical ways you stay motivated. Things you do on a daily basis that keep you on track. If there's certain books you read, or there's a podcast you listen to, are there affirmations, what are some things that you do on a daily basis that help you on your journey?
I would probably say it's not daily, but I go to the gym, and I purposely my gym routine consists of 40 minutes working out, 20 minutes in a sauna. And the sauna is where I get my meditation. So I literally sit in there, and I meditate, and it helps to keep me still. It helps to keep me. I feel like it keeps me grounded.
Yes.
So I would probably say that's definitely one of the things that I do. And then I love me some good gospel music. Get you a good praise and worship in every now and then.
Yes.
Whether I'm shouting in the car, at home, at my house, But those are probably the things I probably do on a weekly basis for sure.
Yeah, right now I've got Jonathan McReynolds' "I'm Not Lucky, I'm Loved" on repeat. You know?
Yeah.
So I get it. Well, my other question was about self-care, but it sounds like it kind of falls in line with what you were saying, or there's some things you do for your own mental well-being as well.
So that I do. I go to the gym because it does help me with stress. Because I would have anxiety attacks and things like that every now and then. So for me, it's really important to keep myself, grounded. So that's why I really work out. I also will see a therapist every now and then. I believe in therapy. It's needed.
Say it again for the people in our community who don't
There's nothing
believe.
wrong with therapy. Listen, go. Because I even told one of my friends the other week, I was like, listen, there's nothing wrong with going to talk to someone who is not, who's not familiar with you. I was like, it's really just a place for you to speak openly about something, and they help to guide you on how to get through it peacefully without it, being negatively impacted on you. And that's it. That's all it is. So my therapist, she's awesome. I don't refer her out to. I'm like, listen, you need a therapist? Let me tell you her name. I'm about to send you her website right now. I love her.
Awesome. So if someone is listening and maybe they want to sign up for your classes, or they just want to hear more about your story or follow your progress, how can they follow you?
Well, they can follow me. I am on both Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, Ontaria Reed is it's just my name. On Instagram, it's I am Ontaria Reed. And then if you want to sign up for a class, it's Trucking 101 class. And that's on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, also trucking101class.com. And then also if you look for Fleet Manager, primefleetmanagement.com, and that's also Facebook and Instagram as well with the same name.
I love that because I mentioned to you my hometown friend, but there have been 2 other women that I know that I've seen online that I've been following on Facebook in the last year that have started trucking companies. So it's like there's a growing, like there's a swell.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're starting to get into it, but I don't know. It's kind of like because I think that women, when we come into the industry, they kind of look at you like, oh, you starting it, but then again, it's like, oh, we can work with you, because, I feel like we bring a different type of feel. That's how I feel, because like even me working with some of the people, they tell you like, man, your spirit is so calm, and and sometimes they don't get that from a lot of the men. So, but yeah, it's needed. They need us.
Well, I thank you so much for being here and for telling your story. When you write your book, your first book, I have to have you on the show to talk about your first book and your first book launch and all that stuff, right?
Right.
Awesome. Well, I thank you guys for tuning in. I know you were blessed by hearing Ontario's story today. I know I have been. I hope you were inspired to move out of those spaces where maybe fear and other obstacles are stopping you from stepping out on faith and doing something that, hey, you've always dreamed of doing. So allow yourself to take those steps of faith and just see what happens in your life. You might be surprised by all the blessings that come. All right. You guys make sure you tune in next week, same time, here at the Regina Sunshine Show, 12 noon. And I'll leave you with the words that I always leave you with. Remember this: God loves you just the way you are. You are beautiful because you were created in love. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You have the seeds of greatness within you. You were born to live a victorious life. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. You are worthy of the best things in life. All right, you guys, we will see you next week. Shout out to my son, Gabe Robinson, for being in the building and producing my show today. We don't have my grandson in here, so it's a little bit quieter than it has been with him. But thank you to my son for always supporting me and my efforts and showing up when I need you. All right, Gabe? I leave you with my personal motto. I always say it's not over till I win. If I hadn't won yet, that just means it's not over. So I tell you today, it's not over till you win. If you hadn't won yet, baby, that just means it's not over. Be blessed and keep winning.
Give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Baby in the park, wishing it all away. Give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. I need the sunshine. I need the sunshine. Just give me the sunshine. Ooh, give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. Sunshine. I need the sunshine. Ooh, I need sunshine. Just give me the sunshine. Do you remember last winter? The sun took all the fun away. It was cold, so cold for many days. And the sun came along and brought the pretty weather. I don't know about you, but I know I like it better. When I have the sunshine.